Welcome to the deep dive. Our mission really is simple. Cut through all the noise, pull out the key insights, maybe some surprising facts from all kinds of sources, and help you feel properly well informed. Today we're grabbing a bunch of concise news updates and we're going to unpack them, connect the dots between things that might seem totally separate. Yeah, see how they're shaping our world right now. We've got a fair bit to cover, starting with a really important historical observance, then shifting to some pretty serious geopolitical tensions shaking up the global markets. We'll also look at some maybe unexpected shifts in certain industries, and even some lighter social buzz from Earth. And actually beyond Earth, too, the goal. Give you a full picture, but, keep it digestible. Help you understand what's really moving the needle today. Okay, let's dive in. Right, first stop, a moment of profound historical significance. It's being observed today, June 19th, 2025. It's Juneteenth, now a federal holiday, marking the formal end of slavery in the U.S. Specifically, it commemorates June 19th, 1865. That's when the news of the Emancipation Proclamation finally reached Texas. So it kind of completed that journey to freedom, which technically started back in 1863.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here, I think, is that this isn't just looking back. This national observance, it's really a living thing. It reflects America's ongoing, sometimes pretty uncomfortable relationship with freedom and equality. It really pushes us, you included, to think about how those historical lessons echo today, in our society, our structures. It makes it part of our ongoing story, constantly shaping how we understand liberty.
That's a really powerful way to put it, a living part of the narrative. Okay, so from that vital historical reflection, let's shift focus pretty sharply. We have to turn to immediate global events, and frankly, this is a serious and concerning development happening right now. Iran has launched ballistic missiles, and they struck Soroka Hospital in southern Israel earlier today. The Israeli Defense Forces, the IDF, they've confirmed this strike occurred. And here's where it gets, well, culturally interesting in a dark sort of way. How are people processing this? We're seeing World War III memes just going viral, particularly Gen Z, it seems, using this dark humor as a coping mechanism amid these fears.
It's a strange reaction, but maybe understandable. The political side, though, the fallout is immediate and significant. You've got U.S. President Trump expressing, let's say, uncertainty about committing military support, and that stance. It's already sparking a lot of debate back in the States. Meanwhile, Iran has issued warnings. They're talking about a heavy price if there's any further action. So the key takeaway here really is how fast these regional conflicts can escalate outwards. They really change the global stability calculation. It's definitely a moment of high international tension. Very acute.
Right. And these big geopolitical moves, they obviously hit the economy almost instantly. So what are we seeing? What does this mean for the markets?
Well, jittery is probably the right word. Markets are noticeably on edge. Investors are clearly exercising caution. There's the conflict uncertainty, plus you've got central bank announcements kind of looming. So we're seeing global equities cooling down, which makes sense. But what's maybe more telling is bond yields have stayed pretty stable. Now, that usually signals a flight to safety, but you'd expect a bigger surge if there was real panic. So it suggests caution, yes, but maybe not, full-blown meltdown fears just yet. It just shows how directly these world events influence market mood, investor behavior. It affects everyone's financial outlook really quickly.
Okay, let's zoom in then. A couple of specific indicators that maybe highlight this interconnectedness, sometimes in surprising ways. First up, China. Some interesting stuff happening with their iron ore and steel. China's iron ore imports, they hit 110 million tons in June. That's up 11% from May. Pretty big jump. But here's the paradox, right? Imports are rising, but steel output is actually struggling. Production is down nearly 7% compared to last year.
Yeah, that's a fascinating contradiction, isn't it? What it might suggest, the insight here perhaps, is that China could be strategically stockpiling, building up raw materials, maybe signaling a pivot, perhaps towards boosting their own domestic consumption, or maybe gearing up for a future infrastructure push, rather than just focusing on export-driven steel production like before. It feels like a key sign of a deeper shift in their economic strategy. And that, of course, has huge implications for global commodity markets.
Interesting. Okay, and in turning to some other specific market impacts, let's look at India. The Sensex, the Nifties, their main stock indices, they're holding relatively steady. Nifty's around, 24,800. But you see the specific impacts when you look closer. Adani Ports, for instance, has dropped over 2%, directly linked, it seems, to the Israel-Iran conflict. And InduZin Bank is also feeling some pressure, so it shows how certain sectors are more exposed to these global ripples.
Right. And then there's the whole world of crypto, always dynamic. Bitcoin traders seem to be taking profits. Over $900 million in profits withdrawn recently. Yeah, that's a significant number. And the big question it raises is this it? Could this big withdrawal signal a trend reversal for Bitcoin? It definitely matters for crypto investors and maybe the wider market too. It suggests perhaps a shift in sentiment, or maybe it's just a natural profit-taking cycle after the recent run-up. Either way, it's a moment that could, define what happens next for digital assets.
Okay, after all that intensity geopolitics, markets, let's shift gears completely. Time for a much-needed breath of fresh air, maybe. Let's look at some social buzz that's been catching people's attention. Something lighter. First, from China, there's this doll, Pop Mart's Labubu doll. Apparently, it's selling out everywhere, all around the world. And get this, the CEO of Pop Mart, he's now soared into the billionaire ranks because of this doll's success. It's kind of amazing, isn't it? Who knew a toy could create a billionaire basically overnight? Really shows how powerful and kind of unexpected global trends can be, even in what seems like a niche market. And then, something literally out of this world. High above us, astronauts on the International Space Station, the ISS, they went viral sharing photos of, wait for it, space sushi. And apparently thrilled fans of cosmic cuisine.
Space sushi. It's wonderful, isn't it? It's such a great reminder that even with all the global complexity, the serious news,
Right.
that human drive for joy, for connection, and yeah, even for culinary delights, it just persists. It finds a way. The space sushi thing really highlights that fun intersection of pop culture and space exploration. It shows curiosity, simple pleasures.
Yeah.
They're still a massive part of our lives. Doesn't matter how far from Earth you happen to be.
Absolutely. Well, we really did cover a lot just now, didn't we? And hopefully in a way that felt concise. We went from, solemn history, major geopolitical shifts, right through to complex market dynamics and, delightfully unexpected cultural moments like space sushi. So the idea is you're now equipped with a hopefully well-rounded and deeply informed view of today's key global happenings.
Yeah, it's clear, isn't it? Our world is just this incredibly complex tapestry. You've got historical reflection rubbing up against live conflict, economic shifts happening constantly. And yes, even space sushi fits in there somewhere. It's all happening at once, and it's all shaping our daily lives, often in ways we don't even expect, profound ways. Which really brings up an important question, I think, for you listening. How do you navigate this flood of information? How do you figure out what truly matters and, make sense of the world around you?
That is a powerful thought to end on, something to ponder for sure. We really encourage you to reflect on that complex interplay and keep exploring with us.